Alright, hey guys. Today we're going to be building a charger out of the old charger for my airsoft gun here. This is obviously not our standard 120. This is the 240 and does not work. There are adapters you can get, however the adapter I have did not work and I'm not going out to get a new one. I'm just going to go and build a new charger. So what I did was I matched something as close to this back plate as I could. And that's basically you want 120 for the input instead of 220 or 250, and you want it at 60 hertz. This is for North America standard, of course. And the output DC is 8 volts. So you want to match 8 volts or as damn close to as you can get. You can be a little bit under 8 volts, that's fine. You don't really want to be too much over that, or you can burn up your battery. And I have here 250 milliamps. So this charger I have has multiple settings, and the closest thing I found was 4.5 volts, which is definitely close enough. It just was going to take a little bit longer than this charger would have originally taken. And I have 300 milliamps, which is a little bit higher than 250 milliamps. So that might actually accommodate for my lack of time. It might balance out. It might be a little bit faster, it might be a little bit slower. I need to do the math on that, and I haven't figured that out yet. And I'm a little bit lazy, I don't feel like going through that right now. We're just going to build something to charge up our battery. That's basically all we want, and I'll figure out the time when we have this thing built at some point. I might put it in the comment feed, the formula, once I figure that out. So before we get distracted, we want to put that at 4.5 so it sits there. And you can always tape this over so it's not, someone doesn't come along and change it, or you just remember. So we've got 4.5. This end here is useless to you, so you're going to want to cut that off. And when I cut my electronic pieces, I always like to leave a little tag on the end. That way if I want to use it for something else, it can always be used. If you cut it right up here, you sort of avoid this whole end, and if you ever need that connection later, you can always build something else out of it. So I like to leave, a good 2-3 inches hanging off that as a pigtail, and I'll just chuck that aside because you don't need that. What you need is a charging transformer. Now we take this and we're just going to pull the 2 leads away, and you'll notice one is marked and one technically isn't. One will be white and one often has writing on it. So you want to find out which is common and which is your hot. And the hot is the one usually with the white or gray striping, and you have writing that will often say AWG on your hot. AWG is your wire size. Now I don't need to worry about wire size because they've already done the math in the building of this thing. So we'll be okay. Now the tools you're going to need are a pair of strippers. Scissors you don't need if you have a pair of strippers. Scissors come in handy if you don't have the strippers. So that's just another thing. Wire nuts and possibly a knife might come in handy. You might need it, might not. It all depends. I recommend having some electrical tape. I don't have any at the moment. I might have to go grab some, but I can make this work at least. So we're going to go and take our strippers now, and we're going to strip off some wire. And I recommend using strippers. If you use anything else, you can fray your braided wire and lose some strands. And when you lose your strands, you basically build up resistance and make your item less efficient. You can burn out wires a little easier. You want basically what it's been sized to do. Now this end is from the other end of my useless charger, and this is the useful end that I need because I need that to connect onto my battery because it's a male and female end. So that piece of wire I'm going to need. So I'm going to fray the back ends of that, and I'm just going to now strip them. When you strip them, you sort of strip about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of wire if need be. You don't need any more than that. If you've gone more than that, it's a little bit overkill. It's just going to be harder to twist your wires together. So, there we go. And now you want to match up your white with the white, and that is, I believe, this one. So that's white to white. That's right there is your neutral to neutral. If you mess this up, your charger will not work. So you want to make sure you get this right. So you twist them together. You want to have a real good connection of that copper braided wire, and then you can fold that over the insulation. Because I have large wire nuts, you twist those onto your wire housing and give it a little bit of a pull, make sure those wire nuts don't go anywhere. And you're going to do the same thing with the other side now. Just very basic, simple electronics. I mean, this is almost a grade 10 science, not even, maybe even less. Maybe depends on what your aptitude with electricity and physics are, but anyways, this is totally fine. You don't need to worry about burning down your house if you make sure your connections are insulated. That's key. That's why I recommend putting some tape around your wires. Tape it all together. That way when you give a bit of pull, nothing comes loose. And also, your wire nuts won't disappear. Because I will tell you this, if your wire nuts are off and you touch one of these ends, you can definitely get shocked when it's plugged into the wall. So make sure your wire nuts are on the end, or it's well taped, or both. And now, all you gotta do is you just plug this sucker in, like so. I had the wrong end, so that's there, and you plug that in the wall, and we're ready to charge our wire. So, go ahead and charge, and I'm gonna give this about 8 hours charge. Well, I'll probably give it a 5-hour charge, to tell you the truth, and I'll see how much charge we got. So, yeah, there you go. That's how to convert your charger from a 140 to 240. Hope that's helpful. Well, as you can see, I have my battery charged, and I did the video on how to do it. So next we just slap her in. And now I saw a guy selling one of these things, and he was saying that when you shake it around, the battery doesn't rattle. He's a liar. But anyways, you can always wrap it with cloth, and that'll quiet it up. So it's no big deal. So here we have it. When I was talking earlier about this piece in here, I found out where the hop out is, the hop change, and see if you can see that clearly or not. And there's this little lever right there, and you adjust that. And I found right there it seemed to be shooting pretty good. So it's that little sliding thing right there, and that's your hop up. And that's really all this thing has to do. It doesn't cock it. I thought it did. So anyways, it's on safety, so it's not going to shoot. Once I engage it, it's basically ready to shoot. So it'll fire BBs now. I can put it on semi-auto. And we'll put it on fully auto. So, as you can see, it seems to be working just fine. So I'll just roll in a couple more BBs here, and I'll open the gong. Why not semi-auto? It seems to be the hop-up can come out my way just a tad. So I'm just going to pull that out. So, just pull out just a tiny bit more. There, that seems to be shooting real straight. So that's how you change your hop up. So, go in. Like so. Or go fully auto on this guy. I'm just keep rolling BBs in just to keep my magazine full, because I don't really want to dry fire this thing. So, that's just point firing, basically. I did a drill on that earlier, and fully automatics are great for that, and semi-auto as well. The reason for that is that you can get your shots off by aiming, so works pretty good. I think it's a pretty good gun. I'm just going to go through this magazine here, and hopefully it fires them all. You can see all those hit face. Now normally in Airsoft you don't really aim for the face, but that's a dummy over there. I think it's appropriate. So, yeah, the pain in the ass about this one magazine I find is, yeah, you got to roll these things, these BBs in. But anyhow, I think that's about it. And I'm probably actually being a little excessive. You probably don't have to do it as much as I am, but I was going fully auto. So I'll use the sights for a change. See how they work. Just a few more BBs. And I think that's basically it. And then you'd have to go and load up the magazine again, or have spare mags. So. So there you go. There's a few BBs in here, but I'm not going to worry about them. So, it's empty. So yeah. As you see, it's basically that. Works just fine.